that I've done. Spending my time in the church with children with CCD, being a substitute teacher for 2 years, a public school teacher for 13 years, and then now I work with students with special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all of that time has been dependent upon the trust of my employer, the trust of the families, and being good to the children. What they don't know, and what they really have no business knowing, is that I've been diagnosed with 6 mental illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Those include bipolar 1, dissociative fugues, generalized anxiety disorder, OCD, PTSD, and ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any of those that you are unfamiliar with or you would like me to give a quick description of?
No, I'm pretty good with that. Like I said, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty sure that most people understand what the majority of that means. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so then my question would be, as much to the channel members as it would be to you.
Because we're still live, right?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Yep.
ahead. Talk to me.
I'm just trying to speak eloquently, that's all. When people say, if you know they're crazy, get a pistol, or you know they're crazy, you get what you deserve, does me having 6 mental illnesses, 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's degree, and the ability to hold down a job mean that I am somebody that you should stay away from, somebody scary, somebody psycho, or somebody that's not able to have children? I'm 35, and I've waited until I was in a place in my life where I had God, and I had education, and I had safety in a marriage to consider having kids. But I'm worried about what the public's perception by our group chat evidenced is that somebody like me, even though I take care of children all day for 20 years, maybe I'm not fit to have my own. So I wonder what's your point of view on that kind of stuff.
Well, I think I have talked about it a lot on the show. But let me ask you this: how long have you say you've been watching? You've been watching the AFC even before you became a member. How long have you been watching?
About a year since we were in the Soto situation.
Ah, okay. So for a while. Um, are you familiar with my like? What do you feel like my stance is? Because I heard what you believe that people might perceive you to be as far as like around kids. But what do you believe my stance is on people that have mental illnesses that are around children? What do you believe my stance is?
Based on the things that I've heard so far,
Uh oh, it's a little hard.
the
It's a little hard to hear you. It's breaking up.
I know it's the echo situation. I don't know how to undo that. I'll put it back on headphones. That way it that. Is that better for you? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's echoing.
Okay.
My understanding is that if you know that you have a mental illness, or you know that your partner has a mental illness, and you are unfit to take care of children, you have no business taking care of children or having them.
What do you feel like there's an issue with that statement? Because that's not exactly what I say, but do you have an issue with that statement? Because it's close enough.
I think that the difficulty with mental illness is that people don't talk about it. And at the rate that we're at now, where in America we're anywhere between 1 in 4 and 1 in 6 being diagnosed with one or more mental illnesses, it's a secret problem. So people are aware that something's not right, or people are aware that their mental health is declining, but they don't want to show that to the general public. So they go along as usual. They get married, they have boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, and subsequently they have children because you keep up the public appearance. I don't personally think that's safe or smart, but I also don't think that somebody can tell you you're not allowed to have kids. I mean, that gets us too close to eugenics.
Okay, now, would you like me to clarify what I actually say and what I actually mean?
Absolutely.
Because it seems, I just don't understand how my message can be lost. Because I think I'm very clear and very blunt about what I say. And I think that's what makes this channel a little bit different, is because I actually say what I mean. So let me clarify as far as that statement. What I say specifically is, if a person that has a mental illness presents a danger to their children, they should not be parents. They should not be around children if, that is a huge caveat, if they present a danger to the children. Let alone the fact that if any human being presents a danger to the children, they should not be around the children. Do you want me to tell you what the difference is?
Sure.
Nobody is going to give a person that does not have a mental illness an excuse if they pose a danger to the children and kill them or hurt them. Did you catch the difference?
Well, yeah, when somebody has an out and somebody doesn't.
That's the only difference. So what's wrong with what I said?
I think there are days where I do very well. And there are days where I think if I leave my bedroom, I'm going to die. The dichotomy of being able to write thesis and stories and be published publicly, and then being afraid that I'll die if I leave my bedroom, like, genuinely, means that people with mental illness have days where there's not an ounce of possibility in their mind or existence that they could ever hurt anybody. And the other days, we don't know. I've never hurt a child in my life. But I can't say with 100% certainty that my life will continue on this road, or that it might not change.
Let me ask you a question, because I ask pretty black and white questions. I do leave some room for gray area, but with this, I want to make sure that there is a very clear line. Do you believe that anyone who hurts a child, hurts a baby, hurts a child that can't speak for themselves or defend themselves, do you think any individual, whether male or female, no matter what race, no matter where they're from, do you think that they should be given any excuse for hurting a child?
No, not at all.
So no human being should have an excuse for hurting a defenseless child.
No.
I agree with that. That's why we advocate for children first. I believe nobody should have an excuse for that. Okay? So the reason I bring that up is because if no human being should be given an excuse, why would we ever give anybody an excuse to hurt a child? In your opinion.
So do you think that by me being able to have children at all gives me the excuse or possibility to hurt them?
That's not what I'm asking. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is it's basically a built-in excuse if something goes wrong. And I just don't like that. because nothing should be going wrong. Like, nobody should be taking their children and throwing them out of windows, throwing them out of cars, hiding them in dumpsters, throwing them in pool drains. Nobody should be shooting kids, stabbing kids, putting fireworks in their kids' mouths, dismembering kids, putting them in freezers. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh no, absolutely.
So
Children are most
why in
precious
our
gifts.
society do we have anybody who is given the quote unquote excuse for mental illness? Because that's literally what it is. When they say that somebody, well, the reason it happened is because of mental illness, that's literally an excuse. Is it not?
I do think it's an excuse if we're talking about hurting kids after the fact.
Because I don't care whether it's justified or not as far as an excuse, but it is indeed that. It's an excuse.
I just want to make sure that we're not saying across the board people with mental illness should not have children.
That's not what I said. And you're still missing.
No, hold on. I know that's not what you said, but I want to address the channel members that were stating that that was accurate, safe, best decision.
Because it's not just you saying this. It's actually been multiple people, and I've actually had a person in particular. I'm not going to call that person's name out or even say, or even give an indication who it is. But I did have somebody who stopped coming around the channel because they said that, well, you keep getting on to people with mental illness. I'm like, no, I'm getting on to people who fucking hurt children. That's pretty clear. That's pretty clear what my point is. I'm only getting on to people who hurt children. Do you hear me saying all people who have mental illness are bad people, or all people who have mental illness should be in jail, or anything like that? All I'm specifically saying is any individual who hurts a kid should not be given an excuse. It's very simple.
I think that one of the problems with crimes against children is that there's so many red flags and possibilities for errors before they get caught, before DCF gets involved, before they get killed. And all those things don't get seen or addressed. A lot of times, in cases with people with mental illnesses, there is a crime of passion or somebody gets hurt right away, very quickly, with very little thought behind it. I don't want the excuses of I have a mental illness to take away their crimes, but unfortunately, what it does is it keeps agencies from stepping in and saying, hey, there might be a problem here, let's help the kid out.
So are we on the same page, or are we still not seeing eye to eye on this?
No, I agree that anybody that hurts a child should be punished. But I also think that even if you have a mental illness, you could be a perfectly capable mother.
Do you mind if I bring my sister in the because the chat is open if anybody else wants to hop on real quick, but keep it quick. But do you mind if I bring Keyshawn in real quick?
No, go ahead.
All right. Keyshawn, you're on the line. What's going on? I know it's lagging, and I'm sorry for y'all who are watching this live. Uh-oh, shit. I done got rid of my whole background. Shit. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Hold on. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. But go ahead, Keyshawn.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I just want to say blessings.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead. We got a little bit of lag.
Yeah. I just want to say to the young lady, yeah.
I can't hear you. It sounds like you're far away from the device, from the microphone.
Wait a minute. Let me see. me?
Okay, talk to me again.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, I have to take you off of Bluetooth. Okay. To Cece, when Jay is advocating for children, if you notice most of the stories, because I've been, I believe, longer than 6 months.
Yes.
Most of the stories are about single people having babies out of wedlock. The young women do not know their worth, and they lay down high or drugged up or whatever their problem is with men that are no good for whatever reasons, make these babies, get benefits for these babies, move these stray people in, and the babies wind up abused and or killed. And then most of the stories describe in the news footages that Jay researches that these people have a mental ill problem. So those are the ones that Jay is talking about. You are different. You you rehabilitated yourself. You changed your life. You went to God, which is the correct thing to do, and you waited until it was right for you to do what you needed to do. So that don't apply to you.
Mm.
The whole problem in this world is not following instructions of the man upstairs. Do not have children out of wedlock. It's that simple. When you open up that door of sin, you have posted a child to be apt to death in the first place. And no one's understanding that. Now, we all fall short. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes, but we're not dumb. Why people choose to act like it, I have no idea. There's only two kinds of people in this world, and I'm almost done. There's a person that cares. With caring comes love, concern, and no hurt. And a person that doesn't care comes anything up until death. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Definitely appreciate you. If anybody else wants to hop on, now is the time to do it because, like I said, I do not plan on being on here for a long time. Let me see if I can grab that link and repost it real quick. So let
And
me just.
anybody can hit me up, Jay. They can ask you and how to get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to talk to these young women, help them know their worth. I am a God freak. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And I will help them out because I've been down some of these avenues. But I've been learned. I was mature for my age always. So I learned. I made a couple of mistakes and that's it. I don't need no more than that. It's like you get one or two severe ass whoopings and you don't need no more.
Yeah.
Miss Keyshawn, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. So I mentioned the mental illnesses that I've been diagnosed with. I've
Yes.
also gone through thyroid cancer, um, divorce, and then I got remarried. I was divorced
Mm-hmm.
before I was 6 months into marriage. I laughed. I was like, wow. But one of the things you mentioned was having a spiritual basis to support your change. And in a lot of the stories we see, there's so many people that show up to funerals, but not all those people are there in the child's life or community when they needed them, when they
Correct.
were babies. So, do you think that there's a way for us to kind of stand up and accept our faith and accept our load that God's given us and say, well, okay, this is what I got to deal with. I'm single. I got this kid. I live in this place. I can't do it alone. I need God to help me.
Yes, I do. Now wait, I heard everything you said. I'm going to share this real quick, and I hope that your answer will be in what my statement. Real quick, I'll be 50 years old on Christmas Day. I have three children. I'm a single mom. I've been married twice and divorced twice. Neither male is the father to my children. My oldest is a girl. She is 23. And then I have two sons, 22, and one just turned 21. I got them all through high school by myself. No parents. My parents were passed away in 96 and 98. All my grandparents are gone. I'm the black sheep. I'm the girl, the baby out of three boys. Um, I literally raised my children, me and Jesus, him being the majority, by myself. So I've always had God as a foundation and a background. Even when you stray a little bit, it says if you train a child up in the way he or she will go, they will not stray away from it. My daughter is a pure virgin and she's 23, untouched. She has not touched anyone and no one has touched her. I'm just putting that out there. And to be black, I'm proud of her for that. I'm just saying. Jay do stories all the time. I'm not discriminatory. Me and my children, I raised them diverse. I was raised diverse. I'm just putting it out there. It is a rare thing for a person that age to, so many virgins going around here with no children. I made mistakes. That's why I don't regret my children, but I was not wed when I conceived either one of my children. With that being said, and I'm almost done, I also have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and they want to label it as anxiety. Stop labeling it as anxiety. It's just called overload of stress. Um, I don't have those problems where I want to hurt people, do this and do that. I'm quite sure anybody can become mentally ill. You either diagnose with it or you're not. Most of the time, see, the ones that are not diagnosed are the ones that don't get the help that they need to get because they don't speak out and tell someone that there's a problem to receive the proper help that they need. So once again, I would love if anybody needs to talk, reach out to Jay. I don't want anybody knowing personally where I live at and all that stuff. I don't know. Jay would probably have a better idea on that situation, but I am open to help and pray and talk with anybody about whatever. I am not perfect once again, but I have come this far and I thank God. And I do have God in my life. It pays for everyone to have God in their life. And I'm done. I have one more thing. This year, 2020, is a catch 22. Is disobedience upon a nation. Look in Revelations and read about it. And people are being exposed. Only the strong gonna survive this. Everybody was supposed to stay at home when they was what is it the word being stay at home when all the cities and stuff was closed down. You're supposed to be rekindling the fires with your spouses. If you were taking those corporate trips, if you were not with your kids, you're to retrain your kids, retrain the pet dog, refurnish your house, clean up the backyard, trim your weeds and your bushes. Okay, I'm done again. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, no problem. Let me go ahead and unmute you guys because I
I hope
couldn't
I
tell
got you, CC.
because I couldn't tell whether. Oh Lord, somebody's mic is really really feedback and really bad, and I can't figure out who it is. I think that's sassy Vermont mom. I think it's your mic that's feedback, and if I'm not mistaken, but I think that's your mic. To Almond Brown, you'll have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you, but you guys can go ahead and talk to me.
Hello.
Sassy Vermont mom, you'll have to figure out your mic because it's feedback and really bad.
It says at the bottom right.
Yeah, that's why I had to mute her because it's
If you got a Bluetooth, you probably have to turn it off.
All right, but go ahead, Almond Brown.
I just wanted to say, I think if you have mental illness, you can have as many kids as you want. You just need to stay in treatment and take care of yourself. So you'll have a that chance that won't come that you hurt your kids. So that's all. That's all I had to say. Because I think if you keep yourself good, you should be able to take care of your. If you take care of yourself, you should be able to take care of your kids. You should be able to do it as long as you stay in treatment.
Absolutely.
Because there's
I
many
agree.
people out here with mental illness, and they have kids, they're able to function, and have a good life. So it's the people that go out and self medicate and don't take care of themselves that this stuff happens to, and it's sad.
Yep. They won't go to the doctors. Absolutely correct.
Yep.
Okay. Can
But
you?
They think
it's
because they
important.
smoke weed or drink, they can't go to the doctor. They can't confide in the doctor. So they go
Hmm.
untreated and they just think they're living normal lives and they're not.
Hmm. They
It's
self
an
medicate.
underlying disease that has not been properly medicated or taken care of.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Sassy Vermont mom, you want to go ahead and chime in real quick?
Yeah, I was wondering, is the audio okay now?
Yeah, you're good. And I had to change. I
Yes.
had to change my source too. So y'all might not hear me on the regular mic, but I think I'm talking through the camera mic, so you should be able to hear me okay.
Yeah, I changed mine to my speakerphone mic
We
instead
all
because
good.
sometimes that works better.
Okay. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never used StreamYard. But I want to chime in on the lady that was talking about. Um, I know I've never called in or anything, and it's funny that you mix up my name to TV, but to VT, but everybody does that. So I will tell you, as a disabled mom with three sons on earth and two in heaven. I have had two stillborns due to the cord. I have several health issues. I have two grown sons. I have grandchildren. Now, one of my children smoke, drink, never been in trouble with the law. They don't curse, and they're not rude.
Same.
They're empathetic. You know what I mean? And I say that they're special because not only are special needs, they have a special heart. Because my youngest, he's 12, and mentally, emotionally, he's probably about 8, 7, 8. He doesn't go on social media. He doesn't do any of those things. Everything is supervised. I want them to have the childhood that we had. I live in Vermont. I grew up in the country. Right now, it's beautiful. I live in the valley of all these mountains and ski resorts. But speaking of mental health, I have a friend that has a child the same age as my son. They grew up together. They're actually cousins through the father, okay? And what happened was he went to the hospital. He never had any issues, no violent issues, nothing. He was 23 and his girlfriend was 22. They were engaged to be married. They had an apartment. He was receiving Social Security but he did work too. So, supplement, you can work so much on it. And he had never had needed a payee after that. He grew up and never had any violence. Soon as his girlfriend went to deliver, fiance, whatever you want to say, his family had to advocate because there had never been DCF in the family, nothing. Our hospital immediately called DCF as soon as they found out he was special needs. Immediately. And they blamed it that they were young and his needs, saying they, quote unquote, couldn't care for the child. What happened was the family stepped in, got some lawyers and stuff to help, and the grandmother had to take custody until they could prove they were inept. Now, people might think, oh, that's awful. Yeah, it is, to judge so quickly. But if we had those steps in place, when people had, not an educated to child care, or even to make sure, like, okay, you're on probation, you have to do all these qualifications to stay out of jail, right? You have to get a license to fish. There's no license to be a parent. Now, what if you have a mental illness and you have to disclose that at birth, just like they drug screen babies to make sure that they're not, you know, drugs in the baby system?
Mm-hmm.
What if there was a law passed? It would protect the parents that have disabilities, because I've been afraid being a disabled parent, and I have, you know, mental health involved for my kids, not me. Now, when I had children that passed away, I was scared because I went through depression, of course, because I had buried two children 3 years apart, back to back. Now, on my defense, I felt bad that I didn't have life insurance then, because I can't get life insurance for a child that wasn't born yet. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't go no gun GoFundMe. I had family that, you know, we donated a little bit or whatever, and I said, instead of, it was right before my baby shower, I said, instead of the baby shower gifts, take those back or whatever. I paid payment to pay off that baby's funeral, to pay off the headstone and everything on both of them. You know what I mean? I didn't have no GoFundMe. I didn't do any of that. It was, you know, this is our family, we're going to do it. But my other children have life insurance, every one of them, and it carried on until after they're 18. But my thing is, if they had a law, they do have a law to protect parents that are disabled. Say you're in a wheelchair, that they can't take your child as long as you have the proper supports.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know this because in our state, I am a licensed PCA supervisor, whereas I supervise the payroll and background checks and all that. So don't you think I didn't take advantage of that background check? Anyone that's going to come around my sons or, you know, these other families, that is what's great that's in place. If you want a personal care attendant through the state, you know what I mean, you get that background check. I found out things on a girlfriend of mine that wanted to babysit my son, okay? I'd known her 13 years, thick and thin, thought she was like my sister. Our kids were, you know, together all the time and everything. I found out she had, I mean, it wasn't a violent offense, but, you know, that something was in her past. I'll just say it because there's no names here or whatever, you know what I mean? So she had a DUI, a really bad one, 2 of them, and never disclosed it to me. Now, she's transporting my son in that car. How do I know that I know she's not in AA. I know that I'm close to her that much. How do I know she's not going to lapse one night, get upset, and have my son in the vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you don't know anybody. You really don't. But there should be a law. I know there's a lot of protected parents, but I see so many times that it fails where there's supposed to be the automatic mandated reporter. There we go. A teacher, a counselor, anyone sees abuse or anything on a child is supposed to be mandated reporter. I have them that back me up. That's, you know, I've even talked, they're like, no, that'd be the last thing. You know, you are the one that advocate for your children, which you have to when you have special needs kids, you know what I mean, for their IEPs and all that. But my concern is this woman calling in, she's putting it all in someone else's court, like asking what everybody else thinks. If I did that on every question that I had in my life, then no, this is your choice to make. But one, set up your support system. Number one, make sure you have a great support system. Not only your counselors and everything, to make sure that there's going to be support for that child. There is an emergency parent.
Come here first. You up or down?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead and wrap up.
I was going to ask, DJ, I've asked you a couple of times, I don't know if you've seen it in the chat, but I know we advocate for children, but there's another step to stop this before it happens. And it's not really supporting the parents, but it is supporting the parents because it's protecting the children. Now, especially kids with special needs, there is a parent hotline, but there's also, people are afraid to call it, there's an anonymous parent hotline. say you're in quarantine, you've had it, you're losing your mind, whatever. Your kids are rolling on the walls, you're going crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And say it doesn't have to be at that blink point. You could call. You don't have any close friends or family or whatever. You have to have that support system, but say you don't, and you just feel stuck, or you're embarrassed to call a friend or family. There is that hotline, and they will talk you through it. And this one that I have locally actually talks to the child that with a special need to work through. I mean, even if I don't know what his diagnosis, instead of getting hold of a psychiatrist, this counsel will get on and walk my son through an episode. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I see these people doing all these crazy actions to kids for the slightest things, and it's like I have a 12-year-old that still does BM in his pants as you know what I mean? It's like I'm looking at these things that they're doing, and I'm looking at if they lived one day in my life, these people would not handle it. You know?
This hold
It's
on,
like,
hold on. Let me say this because we got to wrap up. Let me say this real
I'm
quick.
sorry.
For me, it's very simple. Okay, for me, it's very simple. To any human being that presents danger to a child, they should not be around that child. It's an all-encompassing answer. So what it does is it eliminates the excuse of, well, it was because of this, or well, it was because of that. Okay?
Yeah,
And you know what? It could even go as far as postpartum depression because they use that as an excuse as well. But if we know that postpartum exists and the person who has custody of that kid could potentially cause danger to this kid because of something that they say is natural and something that this person can't control, then why is it that throughout that time period that person is automatically given custody? Because I'm going to tell you like this. They don't give men postpartum depression as an excuse for hurting their children. So in a situation like that, I would say when it came to me and my daughter's mom, if she's going to be potentially suffering through postpartum depression for a matter of days, a matter of weeks or months, whatever it is, then daddy needs to have custody. Maybe we need to start working together instead of just saying, well, yeah, it's the mom ought to just full out all rights and custody. Like, I mean, it's just, there can't be any excuses, period. The more excuses we come up with, the more babies end up dead. And how the hell are we advocating for kids if we allow them to continue to keep getting killed over whatever reasons we want to come up with? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm literally going to give everybody about 60 seconds to give their closing thoughts, and then we're going to wrap up. So let me, you'll have to unmute yourself, Keyshawn. I can't unmute your mic, but unmute yourself, give your closing thoughts. Then we'll go to Cece, then Almond Brown, and then Sassy Vermont Mom will close us out. So go ahead, Keyshawn.
Okay. I just want to say I pray constantly for all of us. And when I tell people I love them, I mean it from the heart. Love is free. It should be contagious. Spread it around. Love covers a multitude of sins. We have to stop and educate ourselves. Number one, get a relationship with God. Whoever don't like Him, don't know Him, then you're doomed. I'm just going to tell you. You got to have some form of God, period. Nothing created itself. Man, woman, mountains, trees, birds, dogs, cats. Nobody is responsible but one person. So whether you want to accept it or not, that's the same person when all the party hits the fan. Holy crap. Holy this. No. Don't call on Him when you don't have a relationship with Him. Get a relationship who will guide you and lead you. You could be uneducated. First of all, we born with 5 common sense. They'll get you through a lifetime.
Yeah.
But you must have a relationship with God. Young women, stop dating jailbirds and thugs. They plotted on you 6 months to a year before they even got out of prison. You became the pen pal because when they get out, they have to give an address to give to the probation officer. You're being what I want to call hoodwinked. At that point, you do not know your worth. If you make a mistake and you're having kids out of wedlock, how many mistakes out of wedlock must you make? 7 kids? 2, 3 different baby daddies? Nasty. You do not appreciate who you are. You don't know who you are, and you don't know whose you are. Because whose you are, you were born in this world for His purpose, and not to live up to no man's expectations. So God bless everybody and stay safe.
For sure. Thank you, Keyshawn. CC, go ahead. You got a minute. Go ahead. Sorry.
I had to unmute myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to first say thank you to Jay for always putting out quality content and putting out a great show, and making sure that all of us have an opportunity to conversate with each other and reach out to each other for support and advice. Um, if I was able to speak on anything for just a little second, it would be that there are people suffering from mental illness or succeeding with mental illness all around you. And before you snap on somebody, before you raise your temper, take a second and wonder what it's like for them. Maybe they're going through something that you never considered. Um, However, if you see signs of abuse, or if you see signs of hurt or red flags about somebody and their behavior with their children, don't just chalk it up to a mental abuse or a mental illness thing. Get on it, become a mandated reporter, call your anonymous helplines, help the children that need it. They can't speak for themselves, and we need to be their voices. So if you are an individual with mental illness, get help, seek treatment, take your meds, and do the things that you want to do, because you can't accomplish them if you want.
All right. Thank you. Almond Brown, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Um, well, basically, I just want to reiterate what I said. I think if you stay in treatment and take your meds, you should be able to take care of kids. As long as you take care of yourself first. You know. And I agree with Keyshawn said. Having a relationship with God is important, and it helps you to stay focused. So, just these people that do this, like I said, they self-medicate and they go out and they think they can, just do whatever. And like that woman crying, I don't feel sorry for you. You knew better. So, you get what you deserve. So, but I think as long as you stay in treatment and take care of yourself, that you should be fine around kids. And also, Jay, I emailed you a story also, just FYI.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I know you get a lot of them. But yeah, but that's all I had to say. Just take care of yourself, and you should be able to take care of your kids.
All right. Appreciate it. And yes, I do get a lot of emails. Sassy Vermont Mom, you want to go ahead and close this out? Got about a minute, and we're going to go ahead and shut down.
Okay, I want to thank Jay, as usual, and all the chat and all the members that support the cause that's the most important. The children, the babies, and there's no crime to ask for help. Psychiatrists, doctors, pediatricians, all of them told me that for years. There's no crime to ask for help. The worst crime is not asking for help when you need it and something tragic happens. There is no excuse for any of these things that have happened to these poor children. It could have been stopped way ahead of time. Just like Jay says, you see something, say something. And even before that, if you can, you got access to that, the babysitter supposedly did, could have took that baby in time out. Don't harm that child. Make sure the child's in a safe place, a crib, whatever, and put yourself in time out. Get your, calm yourself down. I mean, there's no excuse at all. I have people that the best thing I have to say is, you can see my child's happiness even on my YouTube channel. I have him on a few videos, just like doing box openings and stuff. But he knows that I go on the advocate for children. He knows because we do. He collects can tops for children with cancer. Your bottle tops from your cans. Save those. you save them up, you can donate them for kids with cancer. We don't. He's like I was saying, big empathy. So he knows that we support the AFC, but he's not allowed to watch this stuff, of course, because he's 12, and I mean that's just too much. But he just will. Like sometimes I walked to the room the other night and he heard Jay saying something about kill these kids or something like that, and I had to go back, mute my phone, and go back in the room where he was, and he's like, "Mom, did I just hear that? Why?" And the best thing that came out of his mouth was, "Why? But why? Why would their parent do that? I only thought only strangers do that." And that, as a mom, I had to. I mean, how do you explain to him? He doesn't see malice in people. And that, as a mom, made me feel, okay, my son knows he's safe. Because the first thing out of his mouth was, but why? Why would they hurt him? You know what I mean? He was just flabbergasted. And he says, that he was so lucky. And I said, you're loved. And he came to me later that night and he said, "Mom, I'm sorry for doing this and this and this today." And I said, "It's okay. I love you regardless." And he knows that I love him unconditionally. There's nothing that a child could or would or should do. Do not make a permanent decision on a temporary problem. Because you cannot turn back time.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
But I just want to say thank you for all you do, Jay. And you are the first channel I have ever supported. And I don't care if I put bottles. My membership will never drop.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. Well, definitely. And thank you, Sassy. Vermont Mob 2009. You have a blessed night, okay?
You too, dear.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. And sorry that it was lagging. Like I said, I think I might have to get a desktop computer to try to eliminate some of this lagging when I open multiple windows when we're streaming. But you guys have a blessed night. Thank you. And we'll see y'all on the next stream. Oh, is it going to play? Hold on. Let me see if I can get this thing to play.
Nor's Authentic Designer has some of the most glamorous and stylish handbags your girl has ever seen. So ladies, if you want to get fly, and fellas, if you want to take care of your lady, please be sure to go to www.nors915.com. www.nors915.com. That's right, www.nors915.com.
Hello listeners, come mask up with Keyline Designs, where you reap what we sow. We offer essential handcrafted face masks made with 100% cotton, equipped with a built-in filter and a slot for refillable filters. Our masks have many uses like riding motorcycles, ATVs, while out in public places, outside exercising, lawn and gardening, and helps prevent the spread of germs. We offer bling, sports logos, monograms, many assorted fabrics and colors. We make child-size masks starting at the age of 2. Come join us today for the launch of our new website at keylinedesigns.com. Please be sure to like and follow our page on Facebook. Our links can be found in the description box of this video. Thank you.